Hey everyone, welcome back to another movie review for the Tim Burton Collaboration. Today I'll be reviewing the 1999 horror thriller film Sleepy Hollow. So just before I get into the review, I want to say that the person I'm doing these reviews with, Miss Christine94, she lives over in America, and I believe in the hurricane area where that big Hurricane Sandy's going through at the moment, so that's why she can't get these reviews up at the moment. So I'm doing a Sleepy Hollow review before the Mars Attack one's out, and I'll probably keep doing my reviews, every couple of days for the next few weeks, and then hopefully she'll be able to catch up. So over the next few days she should be able to hopefully get back and do the Mars Attacks review, and then just continue on like we've been doing. So Sleepy Hollow is Tim Burton's 1999 horror thriller film. It's based on an old book about the tale of the Headless Horseman. So the movie stars Johnny Depp as Ichabod Crane, and he's kind of like this scientist of the 1800s, and there's no others really like him. He wants to find cause in crime rather than just, people assuming what happened in a crime scene or a death and then locking that person away. He wants to actually solve the case, like through science. So he's in court because he's standing up for his scientific beliefs and what should be happening in the future with science. So he's given two options. He can either go to jail because they don't really want to hear about it from him, or he can be sent to this town called Sleepy Hollow because he's from New York. And in Sleepy Hollow there's been a few murder cases where victims have been found with their heads cut off, so he's sent to kind of solve the mystery of who's been doing it. So when Ichabod Crane gets to Sleepy Hollow, it's this really dark, desolate kind of town. Everyone's hiding. It's kind of like, everyone's just scared because they don't know who the next victim's going to be in the murders. So then the main character's brought up to date with what's been happening by the town council. They've been telling him, the heads haven't actually been found, they've been cut off and then taken somewhere by the Headless Horseman. But Johnny Depp's character is very, doesn't believe in all the supernatural kind of stuff. He just thinks that it's some man going around committing all these crimes. And then they go in to tell, the history of the horseman, how he was like this outlaw kind of, and chased down by the people until he was eventually killed and his head was cut off. So now they all think he's back for revenge and, coming back, taking people's heads and taking them back to his graves until his own. So Johnny Depp's character is trying to solve these mysteries, and then one night he actually sees the Headless Horseman, and he's like, all of a sudden, he believes everything because he's seen it. And it's kind of a big shock because he thought it was just a normal human at first, not some supernatural man that's come back from the dead. So now he's got to try and figure out a way to stop all the killings, figure out what the horseman wants, and just try and stop it. So there's a lot of cool things that happen in this movie. It's one of my favourite Tim Burton movies. It's one of his very dark, gothic kind of films. It really suits in with this time of year. It's really like a Halloween type movie. The music was by Danny Elfman. It's really good, really creepy and eerie, and it just gives a good vibe throughout the whole film. So Johnny Depp's the main character. It also stars Christina Ricci, Miranda Richardson, Jeffrey Jones, Michael Goog, and Christopher Walken as the Headless Horseman. Now obviously you don't see the Headless Horseman too much as Christopher Walken because he doesn't have his head for most of the film. So you see him in flashbacks and at the end of the movie when he's got his head back. So Christopher Walken's character looks really scary in the movie. His hair's all blown up, he's got contacts, lenses on, and filed teeth, and he doesn't talk, and it's just a really creepy character. And you've also got the Tree of the Dead in this movie, which they built, and it looks really, really cool. It's just like this massive twisted dead tree, and that's pretty much the gravestone for where the horseman was buried. So there's a lot of very cool, memorable scenes in this movie. It's a very violent kind of film. It's like Sweeney Todd style Tim Burton. You've got a lot of blood and darkness, and it's just that kind of horror that he's into. This is really a really good horror movie. If you want to see a really original good horror movie these days, then I really highly recommend Sleepy Hollow. Definitely check it out. It's one of my favourite movies of all time. One of my favourite performances by Johnny Depp, and just a great Tim Burton movie. So my favourite Tim Burton kind of movies are his darker, more creepy films. Definitely like this one. Movies like Sweeney Todd, Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, Nightmare Before Christmas, The Corpse Bride, and all those kind of films. I really just like his dark style in his movies, and this definitely is one of those. So all the acting's brilliant, everyone does a fantastic job in this movie. There's a lot of standouts. Johnny Depp is always a good actor. And Christina Ricci kind of plays his girlfriend, and she's also a really good actor in this movie. And you've got a lot of Tim Burton regulars also in the film other than Johnny Depp. You've got Michael Goog coming back and Jeffrey Jones as well. Definitely go check out Sleepy Hollow if you haven't seen it already. I highly recommend it. It's a great film. It is quite violent, so just you know, if you're alright with that, then check it out. So thanks for watching this review, everyone, on Sleepy Hollow, Tim Burton's 1999 horror thriller film. And like I said at the beginning of the video, hopefully Miss Christine94 and her channel should be able to get back soon and catch up on some of the reviews, but I'll just keep putting one out every few days. So my next one will be Big Fish, and then she'll have like Mars Attacks and Planet of the Apes and all the in-between movies that I'm doing. It'd be great if you could subscribe and check out some of the previous reviews we've done. Thanks, bye.